Hello everyone, it's your Anas here. Hope you guys have been taking care of yourself, connected to yourself, spreading love and positive energy on your path. And I made a video called The Children of Abraham, and I said that I would tell you more about this history on earth that is lost. Now, loads of people have made theories and made assumptions of the past. And the more you read them, the more they seem to understand. And they're literally education to its finest. They're not talking rubbish. They're the people who have made these books and read these tablets. They are educated people. Like Zachariah Stitchin, he had the book called The 12th Planet. And he read through all these tablets in Sumeria. And they say Sumeria is the first civilization on Earth. Now we can say, how do we actually know that? Because it's true. Me personally, I don't think it was. I think it was Egypt. But that's linked to another civilization before the flood. You see, religion has found a way to get these stories from the Sumerians and the Egyptians and kind of put them into their books. And that's what's happened for thousands of years. And the more you read, the more you do your own research. I'm not trying to say that religion is all fake, but it's because it's not fake. This, what you read in the word books, all your religious, they're real. It's actually happened. But people, stories have been taken out of context and they've been translated wrong. And especially the New Testament. You see, Jesus came, right, to enlighten the Jews, right? But how do people know what he said? How do they know what really happened? And you can say, well, was he the Son of God? Was he this? Bro, he was literally Jehovah. But he manifested himself into a physical so that humans can understand it. And we're going to go thousands of years before that. And we know that the story of Horus is the exact same to Jesus. But can you understand why? It means that they've had these beings come here to spread the message. And then they come again. So who knows, in the future, we're going to have someone like Jesus. This, Dionysus, he was the same in the Greek culture. Born of a virgin mother. These, they carry on. So Jesus is not the first. They've been in history before. Now let's talk about the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki come from a planet called Nibiru, who Zachariah Sitchin says is the 12th planet. And we know that NASA, you can go on NASA and type Planet X NASA, and it will come up. So they know that this is out there. But it's how the Sumerians describe the 12th planet. Because it's mind-blowing. The way they tell you about the planet is how will they know? And these archaeologists say that, the wheel wasn't even created. Like they say all this shit, but they had so much evidence in Sumeria. Temples. They had ziggurats, which were like step pyramids. They had written languages. A civilization. Right? And they literally had things on the wall with the solar system. So they say that this planet comes from another solar system, and it comes in and it orbits around our sun, right? And then this was probably millions of years ago. that Nibiru clashed into Earth, right? Broke a little bit of Earth. One of Nibiru's moon got drawn to Earth to our gravity. And the moon we have today was actually part of Nibiru. So they've said that in the Sumerian texts. Now how is that become a myth, right? So anything that is old, they say it's a myth. They don't make sense. It doesn't make sense, because how can these people write this about events millions of years ago, before humans was even created? So either they saw it, right, because other beings told them, and they worked it out due to this, they worked it out. Well, the Sumerians say every 3,600 years is when Nibiru comes again. I'm trying to do the maths and stuff, when the last time it was here, but it's so hard to tell. And who knows, maybe it is coming. Maybe it is gonna come in our path. Maybe we are gonna see, and if we do see it, it will create an anarchy. People will not be able to, they don't know what to do. They'll be in chaos. They'll feel like they've been lied to their whole lives. So what they do, what would the government do? They'll put all this shit in the sky, all this chemtrails. That's what they do. That's how they don't want you to see it. Anyway, going back to the tablets. The Sumerians say that they came to this planet 400,000 years ago. That's 200,000 years the Homo sapiens before. So what really happened is when Anu and this other man were in battle for the kingship. Anyway, he leaves Nibiru and he comes and he finds Earth. He's like, wow, Earth is a paradise. There's so many different varieties of species. The land is just like amazing. But guess what else it has? Gold. Okay. What is so valuable for gold for the Anunnaki? Well, their planet was in destruction. They were in error. They done error on their planet. And they wanted to save their planet and save their whole civilization. They wanted to get gold and put it around the atmosphere to protect them. Okay. So what happened was, Anu sent his son, Enki, also known as Ea. And he is portrayed in other civilizations after, such as the Greeks, he's named as Poseidon. And in the Egyptian, right, he's actually Patwa, or Ptah, which is Marduk's, Amun-Ra, his father. But Enki's son is Marduk, Ra is Marduk. They're just different names, but they're the same. But when Egypt became in power, Ptah was old man, and Ra, he was the king. But this is hundreds of thousands of years before all of this. He came here, he set up Eridu, and then he went down to Africa in the mines of Apsu, which is South Africa. And they were just mining. They brought other beings here to do the mines. And they were like, oh, we can't do that. It's too much hard work. They also brought this other civilization, another extraterrestrial civilization called the Ijiji. They were mining and they were like, bro, it's not working. We don't have the capacity to do this. We have other shit to do. They looked at the being here, the Homo erectus. They went, oh, we can easily trick this being into mining our gold. Now Enki, he was on the planet literally for about 50,000 years and set up Eridu, set up the gold mines, and all of this was being transferred back to Nibiru. However, they had to mine gold. But the being here wasn't working. So Enki and his half-sister, Nihesag, they're one of the most cleverest people in the universe. They went, okay, what do? We have the being here. We have us. We're very similar to them in body. That's genetically modified, the Homo erectus. What they did was, they genetically modified it. And you can tell from evolution that from the Homo erectus to the Homo sapien, it was too fast for evolution. So this thing, what they say in the texts on these tablets, that happened, and they have the right to say that's a myth. Why? Why? Because it goes against all religion? Why? This is before all of this. The truth is there, and they don't want you to see the truth. You know? They created Homo sapien with Enki's sperm. And they ended up mining gold, and gold were slaves for the Anunnaki for thousands of years. It was getting shipped to Sipa, and that was the spaceport. You had a mission control in Nipa. You had all of these bases created on Earth thousands of years ago, 400,000 years ago. It's insane. To a point when Enlil came. Now Enlil is the second born of Anu. But Enlil becomes the king. He becomes the king of the gods, basically. Because Enki, Anu had like an affair with another woman. Even though he was the firstborn, his mother wasn't a righteous person. That's why when Enlil was born, his mother was. So he took the role of number one. That's why Enki and Enlil were always in battle. And if you read the Bible, it's always said Jehovah and the Lord. See, Jehovah is displayed as Enlil in the Bible. And the Lord is depicted as Enki. See, they're two different. The way they write them, they're different. Now people think of Jehovah and the Lord, they're the same. But when you just say they're one, when you just say they're Jehovah or the Lord, nah, see, they put the Jehovah and the Lord, meaning there's two. And they were always in battle. And the stories of what happened is that when they made Adam and Eve with the life essence, that's what made Eve. See, rib and life essence is the same kind of word in Sumerian, but when it translated, they thought it meant rib, but it didn't. See, that's an important thing. That's an important thing. Then where was the garden? Where was the Garden of Eden? It was in Sumeria. That was their base. That was where they based, and they created a whole civilization there. Now, when it comes to the famous story in the Garden of Eden, this is the real story. Enki loved his creation. He loved that they were so beautiful in the way of existing. But you see, Enlil, he didn't want that. He wanted gold. He wanted us to be slaves. Now, Enki, if you look at all his symbols, he's depicted as a serpent. And if you look at his other symbols for, the hospital sign with the two snakes and the cross, that is his symbol. So he's like a snake, right? But in the Bible, he's depicted as the serpent in like a devil sense, right? But it's not. He wanted to help. He wanted to push the beings he created on their level instantly. He said, go eat the fruit, eat it, because you'll be able to live forever. See, Adam never ate the fruit. He never ate it, even though he lived to like 900 years old. Right? He never ate it. Now, there's theories about this fruit. Alexander the Great, he tried to find it, eternal life. He tried to find it. And many people try to find this. But it said that when Adam, he was asked to go on a ship with Anu. And Enki said, don't eat nothing. Don't eat anything. Don't drink anything. They will kill you. They have the meal and everything. When they put him back on earth, they said that was actually eternal life. But Adam said, okay, it is what it is. And he died gracefully. See, Enki was scared because he didn't understand what Anu and Enlil were doing. See, they wanted destruction. But Enki he ended up liking the Homo sapien because what he created, he saw something in us that was beauty. And the family of Adam goes down all the way to Enoch, to a point where Enoch doesn't even die. He becomes an angel, and he's in the Bible, and it's called Metatron, and he becomes God's right-hand angel. And the book of Enoch tells you of the Nephilim, and the Nephilim are also in the Bible, named as the giants. They weren't really like, what you think giants, like 50. No, they weren't. They were like between 8 feet to like 12. And they were just big people compared to, the Homo sapien. That's what they said. Well, you had the fallen ones. And they would just come on earth. They would fuck anything. They would rape women, men, animals. That's what they were doing. They were in negative action. See, there was so much destruction on earth before the flood. There were civilizations here. And we know there was because we can tell from the book of Enoch. And that book has been removed from the Bible. Why? It's because it tells you. Because Enoch was 315 when he had contact with God. He said he took him up in a cloud, talked to him, gave him all knowledge. When he came back down to earth, he taught them. Taught loads of people knowledge. That's the real truth. So that's what they were doing. They were constantly in battle. See, the Anunnaki came in battle. That's why humans today are constantly in battle with each other. You had Enki and Enlil. They're constantly fighting against each other. Where is that? Where is the love? So we were literally raised since we were born to always have this hatred within us. See, a man can kill someone. Why are we like that? We weren't like that before. See, they came and gave us that rage. So, climates were rising 100,000 years ago. Right? And Enlil was forced to marry a human because he raped her. They went on a boat trip and he raped her. And Anu said, you can't do that. You've went against the code. You have to marry her now. That made Enlil even more angry. Like, bro, I've just married, you know, I raped a human. Why should I be sanctioned? Why should I be sanctioned? Why do I have to marry this person? I'm more than, you know. But he had to listen to his father. He ended up having kids with this woman. And, you know, anyway, the earth was warming up and the ice caps were melting. But the thing is, Enlil wanted to speed up the process. See, he was getting very angry. And in his palace, right, all of humans were like, I don't want to fucking mine gold anymore for this piece of shit. I don't want to do that anymore. They threw all their shit away. They charged to Enlil's temple. We're done. Enlil's rage. He has full of rage. He doesn't want to do this anymore. So now Enki got the heads up from other gods. He was like, shit, I'm going to have to tell some people. Now this is where the story of the flood comes in. In every civilization on earth, there's a story of a flood. Right? And there's a hero. There's always a hero. In South America, there's a hero. Someone told him, build a ship. Okay. Gave him measurements. Okay. You had Noah. You had Zuhrada. Build a ship. There was a man called Untersnappen, and he was the man of the Sumerian stories. Zaharasis calls him the Sumerian Noah. You had man in India and China. Stories in Africa. So you can tell that this flood was real. Build a ship, build a massive ship. Now in the Bible they say Noah just built the ship by himself with his family, and all the animals came on the ship, 2 by 2. Well, you know, I call bullshit on that. Because when you read the Sumerian texts, it says that he had the whole village build this ship. Because they had to rush. Because if there was just Noah, no fucking way. No way. See, the Sumerians, when they wrote their texts, it's so on point. It's so on point. And it's so it's so different to any other civilization after them. The way they talk about creation, that the way they talk about creation is other beings came here, modified the being. Other civilizations don't talk about that. They're so in depth about where countries are, how they traveled. They even say Earth is the 7th planet. Now, why would you say we're the 7th planet? Because they're coming from this way, in to Earth. See, like this. See, we're the further up from the sun, so we would go out this way, but they're coming inwards. Stuff like that, the way they describe things. So Enki told all these, the Anunnaki were all with Earth, and he, you know, Enki is shown in this South American's civilization as well. So he told those people to build a ship with all these measurements, and it's going to be a great flood. Many are going to die. Get ready. And people say, how the hell are you going to get all these 2 by 2 animals on your ship? DNA. Literally. This is all you need. Literally, a little plastic thing, little glass. DNA of an animal. Done. You can get every animal on your thing. Every animal on your ship on one wall. Must have, man. That shit was real. Now after Noah, the Bible contradicts itself again. It says everyone dies on the planet. Oh, they land. The land, oh, no more water. His 3 sons find wives. What? You just said everyone dies. How can everyone die, but then they find wives? Don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. See how the Bible is written wrong. Contradict it. Question it. That doesn't mean you're against God. It doesn't mean you're against anything. I say if you have questions, valuable answers that you want, you have to ask the questions. You have to go against it. Now Noah had 3 sons. He had Japheth, and he took the region of Europe and Asia. He had Ham. He took Southwest Asia and Africa and Canaan. And Shem, he took the Middle East and the Shemnites. Very interesting history there. But Noah is interesting himself. Apparently he was pale, blue eyes. He was different to all his other descendants. See? His whole other family were all black. And it's important to understand that. Because now, what's going on now is literally, like, people don't realize what history is because they think everyone is white. They're not white. You know that Enoch is a black man and his whole descendants were black. But Noah was different. See, he actually was born for that. It's insane. But history has to be told properly, because by knowing history, you kind of know yourself, you know. You kind of like, well, you know, my family comes from here. Oh, that kind of touches me, you know. You're like, I'm from Cyprus. So I'm from like that Middle East region. So I can kind of understand history about where people come from, or where they really come from, their skin color. I know that the media now always portray the Egyptians as kind of light, but they're not. How? How can you say that? They just don't want to give them the fact that these black people were living in these amazing, like, insane buildings, and they were dripping in gold. And the white man was literally in caves trying to survive off, you know, barely getting food. People were living. Literally. To a point where people think they had electricity in Egypt. Tesla said that. It's a very, very far-fetched thing, but who knows? Their technology is so out of our comprehension. We don't even know. We can't even build the shit now. Look what they came here and taught us. These Anunnaki. Think about it, man. This shit is real. The pyramids and all of this. And the pyramids and the Sphinx. You know, they have watermarks on it. That means they were getting built before the flood. You understand? It means that civilization is so misunderstood. And saying that civilization only started 5,000 years before Christ? No way. No way, man. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. And telling me that Khufu built that pyramid in 20 years? Bullshit, man. The archaeologists, when they found the pyramids, right? And they went inside, they blew up, they fucking dynamited the walls, right? To get the recognition, they put his name. They put his name. That don't make sense. Because the pyramid symbol was already on the wall. The 3 pyramids were already on walls. So how can Khufu build? And he's already talking about someone who already witnessed this before he was born. So how can that happen? You know, there's so much shit on this planet. They don't want you to know. They want you to be blind of everything. I know people might be like, oh, you know, who are the Anunnaki? You know, but where are they? Bro, they've never left. Who do you think all these kings are, all these queens, all these royal families? That's who they are. That's their bloodline. I heard a thing that the queen, her ancestors, was like a Norse god. You know? He was like, wow, he's like a god. He was massive. And if you read the stories of the Sumerians, Gilgamesh, a king, he ruled Sumeria, Uruk, for about 100 and something years. And he lived for hundreds of years. And his story, right, went into the Greeks, and he was called Hercules. And you see how stories change. See, Gilgamesh was before all of them. And he had 2 lions. He killed 2 lions. Killed snakes. Killed all these, you know. That, you know, through time, they just changed the stories, changed the names. And they've done that through the whole thing. And it said that, you know, Enki, you know, he felt so bad, man. He felt so bad for what's happened. Enlil, all he wanted was destruction. He never wanted anything else. And if you read the Bible, you know, Jehovah kills all the firstborns, you know, of Egypt. Why would he want that? See, why would God want death upon people? See, it's not God. That wasn't actually God. That was just other physical beings. But that's when this comes in, when I talk about Anunnaki. It all links about this one God. Anunnaki said, why are you believing all these other Ra and all of these, right? When there's a being, there's a soul out there, a divine being, which is supreme to all physicalness. And that's God. That's who you should believe in. You know? And he said that. And that's why he got exiled. That's why they pushed him away. So you can't, what are you doing? You're not supposed, you know, we have our gods. We have Ra. And when you read the Sumerians, Ra is Marduk. And Marduk was never ranked in the Sumerians, in Nibiru. He was never ranked. Because Enki, he was in battle with Anu all the time. And Marduk was pissed off that his cousins were getting all this other shit. And he wasn't having it. To a point where he fucking had a massive war outside Jerusalem in Sodom and Gomorrah, and they were dropping missiles. And it said they dropped a nuke. Enlil's son dropped a nuke, and all that wind and all that debris blew all the way over to Samaria and wiped it all out. And that's what I talked about in the children of Abraham. And that happened in, you know, 2024 BC. And I'm saying now, people think history is just a mirror. Right? What the fuck is happening now in this world with Russia and Ukraine? Who fucking knows what's going to happen next year? And the year after? Who knows? We don't know. And if that shit happened then, the war of the gods, bro, who knows what's going to happen? But can you see how the Anunnaki have always come here and always had this fight? And look, you can say whatever you want about, is this shit real? Bro, it's more real than anything. It's as real as all your religious texts. It's literally written down on tablets, and they go back further than ever. And no other civilizations goes back further than the flood. And how in depth they are to talk about the solar system and the dates and stories of people. You even have Enki, he wrote his own autobiography. Compared to other civilizations, they don't have that. And he's writing in first person. That is so in-depth and so ingenious that Enki did that. Because we're able to read it. We're able to see that, wow, man, this shit was so real. And the Anunnaki came here, you know. What they came here was, yeah, it was fucked. They wanted us to be slaves. But then you had Enki. He just always wanted to be on our side. He gave us the fruit. He wanted that. He wanted us to be on that high consciousness. Enlil and Anu didn't want that. And the way he was depicted in the Bible, he was depicted as the devil, is because whoever was that in that region at that time was the worships of Enlil. And if you read other civilizations after, Enlil was named as El. So you can see what really is going on in civilization. Passed on, the stories are taken. They're written different names, or they're translated wrong. But the ones to really read are the Sumerians, and the Babylonians, and that's who Marduk. He is the head. When Babylon forms, he's the head, and that's when he goes crazy. He's like, I'm gonna fight my cousins because I don't want to be with them, and what they're doing is wrong. And to a point where Enki has another son, right, who is named as Thoth, who wrote the Emerald Tablets. And what did he come for? All wisdom, and all love, and all light. And all that knowledge is gone. Read his tablets. Read them. And you'll be astonished to what you're reading about different realms, dimensions, him coming on ships, him flying around the earth. Like, bro, it's crazy. And what people are going to say, this is all fake? How is this fake? It's all myth. Oh, it's all myth. Oh, you don't really know. What are you talking about? Look what's there. I'm not saying that the Bible's all fake, because it's not. But there's a lot of stuff in there. And there's a lot of stuff from the Egyptian, the Book of the Dead. Read that shit, man. That shit is real. They don't want you to read that. And even the Book of Enoch is a book that is in the Ethiopian Bible. See, the Ethiopian Bible has 88 books compared to the King James that only has 66. Why? Why are they removing those texts? Huh? Can you see how they want you to be in bondage? See how they want to lower you down, not know this information? It's important to know this information because that is history. The more you know about history, the more that things, like the puzzle just gets completed. The puzzle is all jumbled up. We don't know what's going on. We barely know each other. We completely hate each other. People are still racist to each other. They're against their sexuality and all that shit. Bro, because this all comes down to this. This error we are with ourselves, with history. For far too long we've been knowing lies, and I don't want to know lies anymore. And people are, if they know this information, it will create, chaos upon this planet. How would, people are already dying of they're suffering. That is a chaos. Wars are happening. What? So us knowing that these, these gods that, we call them gods, or just other physical beings in the universe, that they were just on a higher state than anyone else. It's, they knew so much about other technologies compared to what we have. Look where they were, right? Look, and you can think about where they are now. They're so advanced. And we're again more advanced. They're clearly talking to us. talking to governments. And listen, people have read the Emerald Tablets. People have got information from that. There's texts in India. There's this book. And this guy made a battery. They had that in that book in India. And they said, oh, these beings, the sky people. All these civilizations are the sky people. Came from the stars. They all say that. So you're saying that all that is all myth? It don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. How can you say that they're lying? How can you say that that's all a myth? The evidence is all there, and it's just full of love and light. Even though the stories are so fucked, that's the truth though. Look at the pyramids. We can't build that now. Like, and there's thousands of pyramids and hundreds in Egypt. And there's loads in America, in China and India, in Budapest. Like, they're everywhere. But people just put them down and say they're all myths. Slaves built them. Slaves, yeah. How can a slave build that? You're saying a skilled craftsman wasn't? Huh? The time now is to understand that what history is. Do your own research on the Anunnaki. People say, what color were they? Well, I'm going to be honest. I think they were black. I think the Anunnaki were black. They weren't white. Do your own research. It's important. It all links together. It all links. And the Sumerians all link to the Bible. They all do. They always... That's the real story. And then you read the Bible. That's the truth. A book to really get your mind going is the Book of Enoch. And the Ethiopians, that's what they read. That's what they believe. And it's true. People have to start realizing. Because I feel like more people are not in connection with that. And what's going on now, I know what Kanye's saying, he's a bit cuckoo. But when he's talking about the Jews and the blacks, I know what he's talking about. And Kyrie Irving, that shit, that's real, man. You have to read the fact and like be realistic. The times back then. Think about it. And it's even said in the Bible what color they were. So you have to really understand. I would love to speak more about the Anunnaki. Because, I've known them since I was a kid because of Dad. I mean, read this. I've always had my mind open. Right? And if you believe everything you hear first, how are you ever going to advance? It doesn't make sense, you see. How can you have, you're told that, you're told stories and they say, that's a story. Why? Why can't I do more research, right? And understand history before all of these religions were created. You had all these other stories. It's important now to really do your own research about the Anunnaki. Because I believe that this is real and they've never left and they've come. They keep coming. And the governments are in talk to them. 100% they're talking to them. Like, we're learning all these new technologies. People are getting smarter. Like, it's true, man. This shit is real. I just want you guys to understand yourself, love yourself. You know, hope you meditate more. And you start to realize, you know, what actually is. I'll talk about more detail on this in other videos. But I just want to show you that this shit is real about the Anunnaki. That all this knowledge has been here. And 100% all these governments have taken it. Like, all this knowledge, obviously. But they're never going to give it to the people. And whoever talks about this, they talks about they're crazy. Or they're talking rubbish. Or, oh, it's not mainstream, so you shouldn't believe in it. Well, who are you to say? You know, you're guessing as well. But reading these texts, reading the Anunnakis, the Sumerian texts, that is not a guess. You're literally just reading it. And Zoroastrian was not dumb. He was educated. He spoke loads of languages and he devoted his whole life to it. So he came with good intentions because of the knowledge he had. Do your own research. Trust me, it will benefit you. It will benefit you, and you'll realize and you'll see about history itself. Love yourself. Keep meditating on yourself. Have a beautiful day. Lies are out there. Don't be a fool to media. Open your eyes and see the truth. Iwan Nazal. I love you. Peace.